We need to talk about Charlie Kirk, especially if you're a Christian, and what I've got to say is probably not what you're expecting. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. Look, murder is wrong. Jesus advocated for nonviolence. He talked about nonviolence. He modeled nonviolence, nonviolent resistance. He resisted a political system non-violently. Violence is bad. Gun violence is incredibly bad. And we need to be working for a world where gun violence is a thing of the past. But murder is wrong and bad all the time. So if you're taking a victory lap when somebody that you just disagree with politically, that you think is a bad person, is murdered, you need to check yourself. That is not okay. That is not an appropriate response. And that response has absolutely no correlation with the teaching and the life of Jesus. As a pastor, I've sat with a lot of families after the passing on of a loved one. And there's this one tendency that some people have where the death of the person turns them into a saint in their mind when they were definitely not a saint. That is also unhealthy. Somebody's death doesn't absolve them from saying horrifyingly racist things, for advocating for policies that encourage and allow violence and discrimination and all kinds of injustices. A person who lived a lot of their life working against many of the teachings of Jesus, okay? Whether or not that person claimed to be a follower of Jesus, when you advocate for violence, that is not following the teachings of Jesus. So somebody's death does not absolve them of that. It doesn't turn them into a saint. And so if you are in this place as a Christian, allowing a person's passing to absolve them of all of the horrible things that they did and said, you also need to check yourself. That's not okay. That's not healthy. That doesn't help anything. And the thing is, both of these sides, you can hold them both at the same time, keep yourself away from the extremes, and you can hold space for people in the world who are grieving the loss of a loved one or a friend. Just because the person was off the rails as far as you were concerned, doesn't mean that people aren't hurting. And empathy is an essential human skill. Empathy, the ability to empathize with people in difficult situations, is a mark of emotional maturity. If you cannot empathize with someone, then you need to take a minute and pause and understand, what is it in me that is not allowing me to empathize with people who are suffering grief and loss? And then just a pro tip from someone who is a creator on social media: if you are tending towards one of these extremes, or if you are unable to have empathy for people who have lost a loved one, just don't post. Right? And if you have posted and you're getting all kinds of hate, and it is because your post is on one of these extremes or doesn't express any kind of empathy, just take it down. That kind of negativity for a post that is just, on an extreme, it's just not worth having that in your life.